Yeah, not sure what to say about that, except if it's not working. Sorry about it. All right, YouTube's up. Let's see, Patreon, greetings. All right, all is well as far as that goes. Facebook. Oh, okay. Facebook decided to wake up. Okay, cool. Hi. Hey, what up? Okay, again, hump day version of Real Talk with Keith Motherfucking Walker. Here we go for another show. So, um, today's going to be interesting, and I think we're on the right track with it. Give you a little backdrop. Like, it's just been a very interesting week between post and personal life and things that are happening and all that kind of stuff. How things kind of overlap and come together. So I've been kind of debating amongst myself, right? Hey, hopping on. All right, good. Good to see you, soybeans. In the YouTube box, very good. Okay, over here on the Facebook box, hello again. Um, but yeah, because you know, hey, I try to pay attention a little bit to the audience and some topics, whatever, may or may not be as touchy as others or any of that kind of stuff. So I pay attention somewhat. Still got to bring it real. So I mean, that's what we're doing here today. So what's the point? Well, we are talking for a number of reasons, and and the topic today is addiction. And so that it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. There are a lot of perspectives on it. And I mean, everybody has their biases, everybody has their opinions, or again, however you want to describe it. I don't judge any of that from anybody. I mean, everybody's got a different story. And so they have a different feeling for what it is. So I try to, I mean, I have personally, I just happen to have a lot of information to filter through to has helped me get to the position I'm at. So, um, as many of you know, I mean, it's part of my story. Like, uh, I used to do a lot of mess back in the day. And, so addict, yeah, okay, great. Um, Recovery, yes, all the above, and went through all of what that process is. And since then, worked in the field for a long time, did a lot of classes, and trainings, etc., all this kind of stuff. So, um, so yeah, there is some background. This is like where I come from. Isn't just because that's how I feel about it. There's a lot of science behind where I'm at. So, um, again, for what it's worth, if that makes sense. So, um, and I'll throw my little plug, like for any of you guys who've seen this or have this, like you get a pretty good idea of where I'm at, in a lot of ways when it comes to this. And so there's a lot of definitions. People have their perspectives on what addiction means and all that kind of stuff. I what I've really boiled it down to, because again, I try to keep shit simple because life's very complicated and the toolbox can be very complicated and all that. But in the world, according to Walker, addiction is human condition out of moderation. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that, and I'll get to the, again, what supports that is that the ability to be obsessive and compulsive which is a key component to addict behavior, is a part of what we are all inbred with. We are, and we're all apt to do it. And if you think you're not, I don't know. I guess that's weird, but like if I spent any amount of time with anybody, I'm pretty sure there's things to notice that people are capable of that. And it's not a bad thing, right? This is how you get shit done. Right? I mean, if you're just a little bit over the top, you fucking work harder, you go harder, you strive harder, this stuff, and take shit to another level and all that kind of stuff. And that's just drive. I mean, that's just passion. That's just it can be a lot of things. However, right? We see people who take things like that and somehow go beyond what is normal expectation of excess. Does that make sense? Uh, so how do I do that? Well, okay. For the most part, when we talk about addiction or it comes up or something like that, who like we are typically very honestly substance abuse activity, right? And that's where we see most of it. Like these people do drugs and they don't stop and they fuck everything up and yada 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 and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, I get that. And but and so would that make it something different? Potentially, if it was that. If it was just like I'm just an addict of things I bring in. The I mean, the problem with just looking at it like that is that behaviors are also can be addictive as well. And so it doesn't take a chemical influence. It can just be things that we do that we become very obsessive and compulsive about. And when I say that, right, addiction, yeah, you're right. It is. It's a lot of things, Jessica. It's everything potentially. And that's where I get it into um, a human condition and how everybody is potentially can be in trouble with it because like we can yeah we addictive personality, that's a good description of it. Is it scientific? I've been told not so much, but we all know what we mean when we say that. um and we are so that's why I say human condition. And this is how we get into a medical model. Okay, so there's a couple things here to touch on, and I could go on for hours, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to box this in and keep it simple. Um, I when we talk about medical model, um, again, based on the fact that we are all capable, that leads us to believe that this is a biological situation. Like we can get rats addicted to cocaine. They're not. They didn't have rough lives. They're not gangsters. They don't wear colors. They're not fucking this. You just give them a lot of cocaine over a long period of time, and they become hooked on it, and then they will make bad decisions, like life-threatening decisions, choosing cocaine over safety and life. They do, and we do the same shit. And that's the thing is, and then we look at somebody in that situation and go, wow, that guy's fucking crazy, right? Or what's his problem? And it's just, well, there's 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 some biology going on there. Um, and again, we know where that happens in your brain. It fits a medical model because again, it's when we talk about disease, right? Again, I call it something different nowadays, but um, a disease has a few specific components. And the first one is, for it to be considered a disease, there's got to be an organ that's affected. And in this case, it would be your brain, right? And then um, there are like what happens to that? Well, in simple terms, basically, whatever the behavior or chemical or whatever it is it barrages your brain like with extra dopamine release. Your brain likes it. You do it again and again and again, and you kind of like there's a baseline where you're comfortable with. Well, if you beat that up enough times, you'll change the baseline. Like it'll take more and more of whatever it is to get to feel good. That's just biology. Happens in a rat, happens in you and me. Um, and then what happens after that is, um, what's the symptoms? Like what happens? And that's where terms like triggers and cravings come in. And that's totally biological again, as well, because withdrawal happens. Like if we build up a new tolerance, a new baseline, and then we deplete the supply of whatever it is that's making that happen, then we feel like shit. And then we got to go get more. And this is the ebb and flow. And this is what addicts by definition do, right? The chase is on and all of that. And so again, this is not a moral, I'm better than you, I'm nicer than you, I'm smart. It has zero to do with that. Now, all of that may have some effect on treatment, how things go beyond that. But this particular piece, is just simple biology. So, there's plenty of discussion in the realm of this. Like, are you born that way or are you built that way? And it's like, yes, could be, both combinations of. Like, everybody's again got a different path, but somewhere along the line, whether it's from the first time, like the first time you got high, or the first time you like rolled the dice, or the first time you jumped out of an airplane or whatever, and it's like, oh fuck, I got to do that again. And that's, again, whether it's one time or 1,000 times, hey, who knows? But there gets to that point where again, it you kind of cross that line. And so that's, to me, that's a medical condition. It's not a moral dilemma. And people say, oh, they can't quit, or they can't, and they're just bad people, or why don't they just, and it's just like, I ain't got time for any of that shit. The bottom line is that for a lot of different reasons, people continue to abuse, right? Whatever that may be, and it's for several different reasons. But when we talk about the medical piece, that's the physical piece, that's the biology, and that's real shit. Whether they took the first one, they chose, okay, great, so what? Like, there are other diseases that are built by bad choices, and there may be some stigmas around them too, different types of cancers, different levels of diabetes, stuff like that, where it's behavior induced and all that kind of stuff, and you can judge them, I guess. I mean, but it doesn't change the fact that whether they're born with it, whether they got it somewhere else, or whether they fucking participated in making it happen, a disease is a disease, which implies you need some treatment, whatever that means in any particular case, right? You need chemo, you need insulin, you need to go to fucking meetings, whatever. Okay, so we got that piece. And I will tell you again, it's I've had discussions, obviously, with normies, right? And so you get any number of responses from that, but um, I've had plenty of discussions with fellow addicts that will not buy in to that science. Like they're just because somewhere along the line, people separate disease from behavior, and then it's like, oh well, that's just a cop out. You call it a disease and it's not my fault, blah blah blah, all that shit, all that, and it's a like an e-ticket to be an asshole. And it's like, no, that's not what happens here. People have that perception, as I've gathered, as have been shared with me, and I just say that's not it. Um, and there's an old phrase like hate the behavior, not the child, kind of thing. Like we're not bad people, we just do bad things. There's a lot of truth in all that, and again, none of it is co-signing of bullshit. Like I'm all about accountability and responsibility. If you know me, you know this. So it ain't no free pass. It's just, again, a recognition of what is. And when we really recognize things for what they are, then we can actually do good work and work on that shit. But if we're in some kind of, weird denial or judgment phase, then we're not going to be able to access properly all the tools. So, yeah, again, trying not to go on for hours. So, that's just one facet of addiction. And, that's the biology and that's the medical model and that's the physical dependence piece of what is going on with that. Now, I will say, I mean, addiction is the oddball. I think there's some overlap with some. I think there's impacts with diseases as well, but certainly with addiction, like it's not just a physical thing. Like I know people that have become physically dependent that I would not consider addicts, but they will physically, biologically be like have the same issues as other abusive addicts per se. And when I mean abusive, I don't mean by abuse, I mean abusing whatever it is they're doing. For instance, Granny breaks her hip, right? Goes to the doc, has a healing process of X amount of time, goes home with the script of opiate medication, which by most accounts, I'm not a doctor, but apparently certainly is legal because it happens all the time. Appropriate pain medication. But if Granny doesn't heal up right away, she may go through the process just like many of us did to get in a lot of trouble, right? It's just biology. She starts building up tolerance. She takes too many. She runs out early. She goes and hits up her doc and says, it was really bothering me. I took more. I need another refill. He's like, right? I mean, docs are docs. Do the best they can, I guess, with what they got and what they're trying to do. And just a second, Jess. I'll get you just, let me finish this thought. So writes the next script, whatever it is, for more, again, tolerance, build up, this and that, doesn't get it, runs out early, will go through withdrawals just like anybody else. And then Granny can get desperate because that's fucking miserable, right? Any of you who've been through that situation, you know it might be the worst thing on the planet. Not going to kill you, but you wish you were. Um, so that's, again, that's the physical piece of it. What's different, I feel like, when we start talking about that, is that this is very much an all inclusive disease, malady, human condition, right? Addiction affects us not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I mean, that's why, to me, it kind of like you're not just going to go to a doctor and get a prescription and be cured. Like that doesn't happen with this one, not this disease. There are um, there are a lot of other facets to this disease, and again, it is the building of the obsessive compulsive. Like, right, I'm going to run out. Okay, I got to get more. Where do I get more? Well, I don't have this. Well, it's expensive. Well, I got to go steal some shit. You start justifying a lot of different behaviors, all that stuff. And this is where people get hooked in to the morality issue because, again, because that being withoutedness, right, is so miserable, then misbehavior becomes acceptable, tolerable, I mean, necessary, whatever that is, right? So here comes the judgment piece. So anyway, let me take a breath here. So I'm looking, right? I'm looking in the box and we're still talking. Were you waving hi or do you have a question or a thought, Jessica? Why don't you type in, unless it's already kind of covered or you said what you wanted to say there in response? Yeah, not, I mean, agreed. Yeah, I use this analogy, and if I don't see anything else, I'll just keep rolling. But again, none of us were like when I was 12, like I go to bed at night before like going to school the next morning or whatever. You're just like laying there and okay. Um and you're like daydreaming before your night dreaming comes on, whatever you're gonna call it, right? You're sitting there and it was things like when I grow up, I want to be like a fireman or trash man, or I want to hit the walk-off grand slam. This is like, these were things we didn't sit there and go, fuck, I hope i I can grow up and like be a junkie and rob old ladies. Like that's fucking hang out behind dumpsters. That's what I want to do when I grow up. Like nobody did that shit. I don't think. I don't know. I mean, really? So this was not the plan. Like I didn't want to grow up and be dependent on methamphetamine to have a good day. That was not what I was thinking as a kid. But somehow, like that's the thing when we talk about social issues or history or environmental, like these are all risk factors and they're all legit. I don't mean to minimize any of that shit, but they're not guarantees, they're risk factors. Like I know plenty of people that have a lot of addiction in their gene pool who never get high. Like there's there's some people that like watch it happen all around them and go, fuck that. And they just never do it. And okay, it's not everybody's story. And obviously you can be predisposed if that happens. I know a lot of people who grew up in really fucked up situations and substance abuse or behavioral abuses just didn't become an issue. Like they were not immune to it, but just for whatever reason, their spiritual journey did not take them on that path. Like they did not go down the road everybody else in the family went or any of that kind of stuff. So these are not guarantees. And I would say that to myself. for myself. Like, I don't know, my parents drank, they were functional. Were they alcoholic? Hey, I don't make that judgment. They certainly uh, physically had some dependence. That I could say, like evening pre martini, shaking a little bit, but I anything beyond that, fuck, I don't know. There was any specific super trauma in my childhood. Like, no, I had no business choosing the path I did, except somewhere, just by whatever chance the universe had, like there was reasonably typical, right? Teenage experimentation. It's kind of part of adolescence and growing up, pretty dangerous. Um, and fortunately, however you want to view that, it just was. I fucking really like that shit. So I did a lot of it. And it's just, and then, yeah. Anyway, more to the story as far as that goes. Um, Last thing I want to touch on, again, this is like I do workshops on this shit, right? So we could go on for a long time. Um, something else I want to touch on, and this will probably ruffle a feather or two or any of that kind of stuff. I just I try to keep it in its perspective because it is such a moral issue. It's such a stigmatic situation and all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm very human condition oriented. I don't think anybody's above the universal law. I think problems can happen in a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. I don't judge, it just is. Excuse me. But you know, the idea that you can't stop this, I mean, I get it. I think it's a matter of semantics a lot of times. Um, but again, I think it's important to be real. And the thing of it is, there are a few exceptions. Like if you just stop cold turkey, you'll die. And that's like heavy alcoholism and benzodiazepine use. Like if you just cut that shit off, it can kill you. Um, the rest of it is just really fucking miserable. And so to say you can't, I mean, at a minimum, like some of this, like you need a medical detox, or it sure helps a lot. Okay, I'm down with all that, but that's in the spirit of getting to a quit spot. And again, this is why there's more to treatment than just abstinence, if that makes sense. But abstinence is available when we're talking about abuse, and people go, well, I'm powerless and I'm this and I'm that. And it's like, well, it's okay. We need to put those in proper boxes as well. But I mean, I kind of go back to it's pretty simple. Like there were times in my active using, that I quit immediately for a period of time. Okay. Like, did it make me less of an addict? No. What were those situations like? Yeah, key component. You ever been in jail? Like, I get it. Like, there's ways and means in jail. I was not that cool. So, like, I go to jail for a day, a couple days, couple weeks, whatever. I mean, I never did a lot of big prison time, but nonetheless, it was daily use all the time, this and that. Stop. Okay. Felt like shit, slept a lot, fucking ate a lot, caught up, whatever that is, all that kind of stuff. The point I'm making with that is that, but I was no less addictive or any of that, because while I'm in jail, I wasn't like doing any of the treatment for the other parts of what's going on? The emotional, mental, spiritual piece. I couldn't get it. You know what? And I'll share this. Like, I'm sure I'm going to get some scoffing on this, or you don't know what you're talking about, or that's not fucking right. And it's like whatever. All I know is, again, what I know. I remember. Um, do you smoke, or did you smoke? Have you ever smoked? Like, and I've heard this said, and it's been kind of my experience as well. Like, quitting smoking is the worst. Like, quitting heroin is easier. So I've heard, and I didn't do heroin, but like quitting all the rest of the shit. Yeah, like I was clean for almost 20 years when I quit smoking. Like it took that long to figure that piece out. Anyway, gratefully, don't smoke anymore. But so the point is, like, I would be in treatment setting. I'd have clients in there. We're talking, and they talk about jail and this and that. We're just kind of shooting the shit, and it was more than one client. Like I asked several. Like I said, uh, like I couldn't make it in the day. Like, how the fuck do you, as a smoker, because they changed the rules, right? They made it so you can't fucking smoke in jail anymore or whatever back then. I think it's probably still the same, right? But they just stopped doing that. And I thought to myself, I would be fucking chewing paint off the bunks. Seriously, you're going to put me in this fucking box with nothing to do and nowhere to go and no cigarettes. Like, how the fuck is that even possible? And people would go, it's easy. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? And they're just like, because you can't. Like, it's not there. You can't get it. I don't know. Your brain fucking figures that out. Like, I'm not going to punish myself on top of being punished. So it just says, I guess I don't need that. They can't explain it. Neither can I, except for the fact that mind over matter, mind over meth, mind over Marlboro. I don't know. But if that makes sense. And the point I'm getting at again is that to say you can't stop is, yes, you can. It just really sucks. It's really fucking hard. It's uncomfortable. It's all the things. And if you don't know what the fuck you're doing or have a toolbox or a set of goals or anything, like if, just to fucking stop, not a lot of people are successful at that. I get that. But to say you can't, that's a bad word to me. Like I don't, you can't say can't. Nah. Right? It's just, and I reframe it like that because again, if I have, this is a part of my disease that I still have now, part of my human condition. If you give me a fucking excuse, I will take it. I never meant an excuse I did not like. Fucking how defective is that? But there's that part of my brain, and it's always, and you know what? It was there before I ever got high. Like, and again, so was I born an addict? Well, I was born a human. So by default, I'm less than perfect. So yeah, there's some fucked up shit going on there. And guess what? Get a mirror, bro. Sis, you fucked up too. We all are. At what level? And right? If I can, I will. Yeah, fuck it. And if I can't, I'll fucking try anyway. How about that? So hopefully that, like I said, this is like a fucking semester in school that I actually have coming up again. Like I got to take a class. I got classes I got to take to get my certification in this state, college level. And so I'm literally taking a basic addictions course in the fall. So I'm sure all of this will be what the class is. It's only an eye roll for me because, again, it's like I'm decades into it, yet I still need that piece of paper. So that's what it's gonna fucking be. So I'm just gonna sit in the back of the room, quote unquote, online, and just keep my mouth shut and not be a fucking know-it-all asshole, and just go through and get my grade and move on. And again, things change, medical, whatever. Like I'll be paying attention. Doesn't mean I'm not potentially gonna learn something. But anyway, I mean, as far as the basics go, like, yeah, I hope. Um, I mean, like, if you're going to be one of my clients, you better hope I fucking actually learned something of value because you, like, your soul is in my hand when you're in my office, right? Um, but yeah, it's interesting. It is, and again, I'm an asshole, and I stay out of a lot of discussions, conversations. I don't. There's a lot of posting going on. Always has been, always will be. People in their opinions. People have their, and you know what? I don't ruffle feathers very often. I think about it a lot because I'm an asshole. Um, but I don't because what's the value? And so I guess that's my hope, like with today and throughout the entirety of the process, reading the book every day, doing the live stream stuff, all this kind of stuff, is because it's my house. I can kind of share where I'm at, and then people can hang out or not. Like, okay, like you don't dig it, okay. Um, there's a chat box right off to the side on all of these things, and so because it's wide open, like free to chime in, agreements, disagreements, follow up with any of that. But my hope again is most of the shit that I bring to the table is not so um what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's not anger provoking, whatever. Um, that the reaction isn't good. My hope is that um, that people will think, if that makes sense. Again, it's cool. Like if you have a fucking moral compass that makes you better than, okay. I mean, but what do you get for that? Like, does that actually help the planet? Does that actually help the person who's suffering that you are judging? Like, and then, like, is that even self serving at the end of the day? Like, have you even done yourself a favor by judging that or putting I get it. And I again I had a great discussion last night with the doc, and we were talking about um again, it's just like the society we live in. Like a lot of fucking drug addicts break laws, go to jail, and it's like, okay, I get it. Like I'm not looking for a free pass. You do the crime, do the time. Like, okay, whatever. Consequences for behavior. I don't make the rules. These just simply are the rules in place. But is that good treatment? Like again, we can and again, if you know who knows somebody in jail, like you're not even gonna stay clean. Um there's ways and means a lot of the time. But even if they demand abstinence from you for a period of time, someday you're going to get back out. And if you haven't done anything about the rest of what ails you, what happens? Right. And we see it again and again and again and again and again, right? Recidivism. So, again, I'm not getting on any preachy pulpit per se or any of that. I'm just saying there are certain, we could probably do some of that shit better if that makes sense, and still again address issues at hand. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to get into politics or any of that shit today or any deeper here because this has already been a very long show. Appreciate you, Jessica, for hanging out. Glad you took a little break and checked in, and anybody else who's floating around out there that I don't see. You're all rock stars. I appreciate you for hanging out. What's on the agenda? Well, we are, again, I threw this out the other day, all this bullshit on the first. Figured we'd let it go a month, and then take stock and see what direction we go from there. So if you've been paying attention or you just shut in, uh, again, this particular show, Pacific time, noon every day. Is that a good time? Is that a good amount? Is that, anyway, shoot me your 2 cents, different topics you're interested in, throw it in the inbox. Uh, Again, recommended if you get the chance, go check out my site on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Keith MF Walker. Membership stuff. You can get into tiered stuff. I got some shit going on, exclusive content stuff and all that. Check out the membership there. The quality's great. Better than some of these other outlets, as I understand. Today at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, www.whatnot.com. Go check it out. Beyond the Battle, Taylor Foundation auction, James Niggemeyer, excuse me. Sorry, James. Will be there presenting a lot of fucking killer swag. Bring your pocketbook, get you some, add to your walls of destruction and metal, right? All proceeds going to the Taylor Foundation to a good cause, right? So check all that shit out. Appreciate it again. Beyond that, tomorrow morning we'll be pay attention. We'll be going through. We're on page 106 tomorrow. Special. Don't know why I just said it. Like somebody might care. Ha ha! Come check it out tomorrow, live noon, Real Talk. And again, appreciate y'all. Say hi to the camel, Mike, on hump day for me if you see him. Other than that, deuces. All right, later. All right, Facebook and YouTube and